Choosing your web design platform can be the most important decision you make in the life of your business. It could end up costing you a lot of time and money if you choose the wrong one. So today I'm going to help you decide which is better between Wix and Webflow, and we're also going to break down my personal website built in both platforms, which is going to be a bit embarrassing, honestly. Let's get started. What's going on, guys? This is Peyton Smith and welcome to another video. If this is your first time here and you want to learn how to grow your freelance web design business, make sure to click below and subscribe to my channel so you know every time I post a new video. Today we're going to be talking about two major web design platforms, Wix and Webflow. Now, whether you're a business owner or a freelancer or an agency owner, stay tuned because we're going to be talking about the pros and cons of both of these and helping you decide what's the best fit for you. Now, when I started my business over 2 years ago, I was building all of my websites on Wix. Okay, so I've got a lot of experience on Wix. I was actually introduced to Wix in college and I had just used it ever since. Okay, it was a great platform, easy to use, quick to learn. But as I grew my business, it just left me wanting. It didn't really have everything that I needed to grow my freelance web design business. So I tried a lot of different tools, and finally I came across Webflow, which had everything I felt like that I needed to succeed and continue to grow my business and build really high quality websites. Now, just because this was my case doesn't mean that this is going to be the case for you. So I want to break down everything that I've learned from using Wix and Webflow to show you exactly what you can expect when building your business on one of these platforms. So the first thing that you need to know about Wix is it is super easy to learn. This is one of the biggest benefits of using Wix, is you're going to be able to dive right in with almost no experience and be able to create some pretty incredible stuff. Most of it is done for you. There are great templates that you can use to pretty much just drag and drop all of your content, your images, your text in, and before you know it, you've got a pretty good looking website. Wix has a ton of different features and plugins that make building websites really easy. If you need something custom, like a place for people to go on your website and see your schedule and book a call or collect payment or a chat box or whatever it might be that you want to have on your website, Wix has all of these types of things integrated already, and so you can just go through their library of plugins, you click the one that you need, and it's automatically integrated onto your website. When looking at monthly hosting fees, you're going to be between $12 and $16 a month, which of course, if you are a web designer, this is the monthly fee that your client is going to pay once you take their website live. If you're a business owner, this is the fee that you're going to have to pay to keep that website up. A couple of the cons that I found with Wix is you are super limited in your design control. And what this means is when I started building websites on Wix, I can make them look pretty darn good in the desktop version, but when we're talking about iPads and phones and all these different screen sizes, it is super hard to build a website that's responsive across all screens, okay? And so this is really difficult, especially as a web designer, for you to be passing work to a client and basically telling them, I'm sorry, but the way it looks on mobile is just the way it has to be. And this was really, really frustrating for me that I didn't have the control to make it look exactly how I wanted it to. Because of this, I would say that Wix is really limited for professionals like you and I. If we're wanting to put out a lot of websites, this probably isn't the platform for you. Now, talking about Webflow, this is a whole different ball game for professionals. You are going to have complete design control from A to Z. Literally anything that you want your website to do, you're going to be able to do it. You could literally have the desktop version be for one company and the mobile version be a completely different website for a completely different company, changing all of the colors, the text, literally everything. Not that you would want to do that, but that is the control that you have to literally customize the experience that people will have in desktop, in iPad, in a mobile phone, and whatever size screen. You have the control. One thing that I love about Webflow is it's going to save you a lot of time. And what I mean by this is when I was building websites in Wix, I actually had a client that I finished their website and they had sent me a message that said, hey, really briefly, we would just like all of the headings in each page of our website to be all caps. right? And so there was about 15 or 16 pages. This doesn't seem like it would be a super difficult thing to do, but I manually had to go into each page and I had to retype in all caps, and it literally took me 30 or 40 minutes just to make this one tiny change. And that was really, really frustrating for me. The way that Webflow does things differently is it utilizes classes and IDs. So what that means is you are gonna set a custom class for each of those headers across your entire website. And so if you wanna change all of those, you only have to change one of them, and every single element that is related or using that same class is going to be changed. And so when you're changing colors or changing any styling, it's gonna be super quick and easy, save you a lot of time. These websites that you can build in Webflow are gonna look super professional. That's one thing that I really loved about it, is my clients noticed a huge difference when I started building sites in Webflow. People started requesting to work with me just simply off the fact that they love the look of my sites. As a web designer, this is a really big benefit. Another pro of using Webflow is their CMS. What that means for agency owners like you and I is you can actually white label a dashboard. And so once the website is finished, unlike Wix where you have to basically create a new Wix account for them and then transfer the site over to them and then basically say, okay, learn Wix and there you go. If you need to make changes, you've got to do it on your own. Where in Webflow, they're actually going to pay the hosting. I manage the site, but they have ownership of it. And then they've got this white label dashboard that has my logo on it. And anytime they want to make changes to text or images or add a staff member or add a blog article, they can just pull up this super basic dashboard that gives them everything they need to make super quick and easy changes. Clients love this. Webflow also offers a lot of great features for agencies, and I would definitely say that Webflow is geared more towards people that are building a lot of websites for clients. And this gives us a lot of control over, how we manage these websites, how we bill for the hosting, how we manage the SEO and all the content and everything. It's super, super easy to use as an agency owner, and it's really great to manage a lot of websites at the same time. When we're talking about monthly hosting fees, you're going to be $15 to $20 a month. This is one downside that a lot of people have a hard time with when switching to Webflow. For me personally, I've never had a client that's had a hard time paying that monthly hosting fee because they're just getting so much more with a Webflow website that it really is a no-brainer for them. However, when we're talking cons to using Webflow, there's no question that there is a bigger learning curve. I know earlier I talked about saving you time. That is assuming that you already understand how to use Webflow. Now there is a bigger learning curve. It's gonna take you longer to understand the ins and outs of things, but it will definitely be worth it in the long run. So I would still recommend it in spite of this fact. Webflow is definitely more complex software, and again, that's just something that comes when you're using a software that has a lot more capabilities. You might hear a lot of people say that you need to know how to code to use Webflow, and that's actually not the case. So now the big question is, which one do I use, right? Who is this for? And so when we're talking about Wix, after my analysis, I truly believe that Wix is primarily for small business owners that want to get a pretty good website up quick and cheap. It's also for students and freelancers who are building a portfolio, or those that are kind of just dipping their toes in the world of web design. Whether you're a freelancer or just a beginner designer that wants to kind of understand the ins and outs of web design, Wix is a great option. When we're talking about Webflow, I believe that Webflow is specifically for web designers with big long-term goals to grow to a lot of different clients, building a lot of different websites. It really is for those who are ambitious and want to save a lot of time and also put out the highest caliber work they possibly can. Now, if I was going to give out grades for these two different platforms, for freelancers and professionals, I would definitely give Webflow an A. Webflow is an awesome, awesome platform. Obviously, I use this, and it's something that I will probably never go away from. Wix, I would give a C+ for freelancers and professionals, and that is just because of the limits that it has. But again, it is still a great option if you're just getting started. When we're talking business owners, however, Webflow is going to get a B- from me. And the reason is I don't think a lot of business owners want or need to take the time necessary to understand how to use Webflow if they're just building a single website for their business. On the other side, Wix, I would definitely give an A+ for small businesses, okay? This is a great place for a business owner with no web design experience to dive in, drag and drop, put things where they need to go, upload pictures, put a little bit of text there, and using one of these templates, before you know it, you can have a pretty good website. With that being said, a lot of the clients that I get are people that have tried on their own, spent a couple months trying to build a website in a Wix type platform, and they get frustrated and end up just calling me and saying, listen, Peyton, I just want to hire you to do this thing right. And so keep that in mind. It's not going to be the easiest thing you've ever done, but it certainly is worth a try if you're on a budget. So the last thing that I want to talk about before we dive into my websites really quickly is what I charged when I was using Wix to build client websites versus what I charge now using Webflow. And you can see here that when I started, I was charging between $400 and $1,200 per website. Not only that, but it was taking me way longer to build these websites. So it just wasn't a scalable setup. It wasn't a good price for really to make it worth my time and the client's money. And when I switched to Webflow, that completely changed. I obviously kind of progressively increased my prices, but right now I'm charging anywhere between $1,600 and $5,500 for a Webflow website. I know there are a lot of other Webflow designers out there that are charging way more for their websites. However, the niche that I'm in is small businesses. They're pretty standard websites, and I found a really good kind of middle ground where I can build these sites really quickly and get great looking sites that get great results for my clients, and it's a pretty good price for them as well. All right, and so to wrap up this video, we're gonna dive into my agency website that I built about 2 years ago in Wix, and then we're gonna compare that to my current website that I built in Webflow, and hopefully this is gonna give you an idea of the quality between the two platforms. But also you need to keep in mind that 2 years ago, I was not nearly as good of a web designer as I am now. And so you're definitely gonna notice a big difference between the two. All right, so here we are on my original website that was built in Wix about 2 to 2.5 years ago. And again, I'm a little bit embarrassed about this just because I do not feel like it was my best work. And I also wonder how I ever got any clients from this website. And to be honest with you, I didn't get a whole lot through my website, and I can definitely tell why. But as we go through this thing, one thing that you're gonna notice is it is very bulky and it just doesn't look professional or smooth or clear. Slow load times, that the images kind of come across weird. Like, they're just things that I don't like about this website. Part of those come from just the way I designed it, but also part of it is just the limitations with Wix, right? And so as you go down, you're going to see that the alignment is kind of off. Pay no attention to my very unprofessional graphics here. But I just overall, I did not enjoy working on Wix for this very reason, is I just feel like you couldn't get a truly professional looking site. And another thing that you're going to notice is as we close this screen to smaller screen sizes, we get about to the size of an iPad, and you can see the images and text just kind of like go off the screen, okay? And that was super frustrating for me because Wix didn't allow me to redesign these or really have much control over what that looked like. And things would kind of just go off the screen until you get to mobile, and then it would be a very basic version of the website in mobile, which was very frustrating, okay? So now as we hop over here to my new website built in Webflow, this is something that I built custom, and the first thing you're going to notice is it looks a lot more clean, clear, professional. Obviously I've got a lot more good content and social proof to put into this website, so it is going to look better because of that. But on this one, as you close the screen and adjust the viewport, you're going to see that things are going to change. They're going to shrink in size, they're going to realign, they're going to flip to vertical. And this is something that I really enjoyed because I had all the control in the world to make this look exactly how I wanted it to, right? And so this was really nice. If you watch the menu up here, I've got this big full screen drop down menu with hover effects. But as I make the viewport smaller and get closer to mobile, you're going to see that it completely changes where my call to action switches to this icon button, and then my menu is going to switch to a more vertical drop down. This is just the power of Webflow, is being able to decide exactly how you want every element to look. And there are definitely defaults where, if you're not sure, you don't necessarily have a preference or the expertise to know exactly how it should look. There are definitely defaults that are going to look awesome, but as a professional moving forward, I am super excited to have a platform that gives me all the control that I need to really produce high caliber work. So that's it for this video, guys. Thanks so much for watching. If you have any other suggestions on platforms that I should be using or others should be using, please feel free to drop those down in the comments. I'd be happy to answer any of those questions, and I look forward to catching you in the next video.